The new search for missing mum, Joanne Butterfield.
She wanted to disappear, that was her words, for the sake of her children.
A Queensland cop travels thousands of kilometres looking for a lead.
I think eventually they'll find the bones.
Also, the mysterious disappearance of 67-year-old Yvonne Davis.
She maybe has got into her car when it was hot and maybe had some sort of an attack.
And the sad case of teenager Renee.
Hopefully she's not in Sydney on the streets.
Missing for 7 months, but her mum will never give up hope.
We just love you, mate, and you need to let us know that you're okay. Can you please just let us know you're okay?
Morning, everyone. 18 cases overnight.
It's 8 a.m, and the missing persons unit are being briefed on another big day.
Gary, here's one for you. A 17-year-old girl reported missing by her mum.
She left home with her boyfriend at 15, but that was 2 years ago.
She hasn't heard from her for over 7 months, and that'd be worrying for any mother. And I'll be out on the road today at King's Cross with a detective from Queensland looking for Joanne Butterfield, one of their long-term missing persons cases. Let's go for it.
Meanwhile, in Queensland, Detective Sergeant Trevor Perham is hard at work. He's searching for missing mum of 4 and party girl Joanne Butterfield.
Her activities perhaps brought her into disrepute, and she didn't want to have that reputation hang over her children's heads.
In 1998, before she disappeared, Joanne promised friends she was going to change her ways.
She made comments to a number of people that her children would be better off without her, and she was going to disappear for their benefit.
And that's exactly what happened. The 38-year-old vanished after visiting a friend in Mossman in far north Queensland.
She visited Kevin just after she was seen hitchhiking on the highway there, and she hasn't been seen since. Unfortunately, he's passed on some years ago.
Then, a few days after she disappeared, things went from bad to worse.
Her dress that she was wearing and her carry bag and her passport turns up on a railway line 2 hours south. What's it doing there? How did it get there? We don't know. There's a number of possibilities with this case, that she's met with foul play or that she's just simply cut all ties with her family and relocated somewhere else and is living somewhere else as she said she intended to do.
And maybe she is. Trevor's just received news of a sighting in Sydney.
If you sort of look anywhere, I suppose there's a greater chance of finding her in Sydney than anywhere else.
Meanwhile, back in Sydney, Liz Cicluna has returned from finding Andrea Streak. She's now helping Gary Bailey search for 17-year-old Renee.
Hello.
Hello, is that Evelyn?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Evelyn. It's Liz Cicluna.
Liz is talking to Renee's mum, who let her daughter move in with her older boyfriend when she was just 15.
It was either that or she was going to run away from home anyway. But she kept in contact for the first year, and then we just didn't hear anything. My mum was sending stamped addressed envelopes for her, and we've had nothing from her.
After not hearing from her daughter for 7 long months, Evelyn reported her missing to police.
And they went out to that address, and apparently no one's been there for a long time.
You don't know any of the friends?
I've run into all the friends down here, and they've all said she hasn't contacted any of them.
Did she keep any diaries or anything like that?
When she moved out, she took everything with her.
Did she? All right, then. Well, we'll come up this morning.
Okay, I'll talk to you then. Thank you for ringing.
See you, Evelyn. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We're a bit concerned why it took so long for her mum to report her missing. She seems to be pretty close to the grandparents and there's been no contact there. So we're going to go up to Woy Woy and have a chat with the mum.
Meanwhile, in the search for Joanne Butterfield, Trevor's on his way to southern New South Wales to interview her sister.
I'm going to Mittagong to speak to Joanne's sister, Belinda. Belinda's told me that she remembers a conversation with Joanne just before she went missing, and Joanne told her that she was going to come to Sydney.
Trevor is certain the mother of 4 was on her way to see her sister in 1998, but she never made it.
Well, I'm hoping Joanne made it to Sydney. I'm hoping Belinda might be able to give me a clue as to perhaps where Joanne may have gone, give us somewhere else to go and ask questions and maybe find her if she's down here.
Meanwhile, in the case of missing 17-year-old Renee...
Hi, Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Where you going?
I'm Liz.
Hi,
Just
Liz.
spoke on the phone.
How you going?
This is
Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Liz needs to ask her mother, Evelyn, why she waited for months before reporting Renee missing.
Firstly, what I wanted to find out from you is why did it take 7 months for you to...
Because my mum was under the impression that she's just spreading her wings, leave her be. If she wants anything, she knows where you are and she'll contact us.
When Renee moved out at 15, Evelyn left all contact up to her nana.
My mum was sort of kind of saying, no news is good news. If she's in trouble, she'll be here. Because we've written like 50 letters each, sending phone cards and mail telling her that the back door's always open. If you have to turn up at the middle of the night, that's fine.
But now, 2 years on, and no one knows where Renee or her boyfriend are.
You said when she first met Adam, she changed.
Yeah, she stopped seeing her friends and calling her friends, and I sat down and spoke to her and said, look, you shouldn't be just focused on Adam 24/7. And it seemed that he was just the whole, you know, everything. Yeah, he made all the decisions on where to go and what to do and she should wear and all this sort of stuff. And it's just been with him as far as I know.
It's a story Liz has heard too many times. A young girl runs off with an older boyfriend, leaving her family heartbroken and fearing the worst. Meanwhile, in the case of Joanne Butterfield, Trevor is about to meet Joanne's little sister, Belinda. He hopes she might be able to give him a new lead.
Trevor Peril, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Belinda's been caring for Joanne's youngest son, Thorn, ever since his mum disappeared.
The reason why you looked after her kids from time to time?
Basically because she'd be very depressed, feeling like she couldn't go on with the children. And it wasn't until probably a couple of months before she disappeared that she was so down that she had gone to the doctors and that they'd said she was schizophrenic.
She told a number of people that she intended to disappear, she said, for the sake of her kids, because she thought she was a bad mother and her kids would be better off without her.
And she often felt that way. At one particular time, I had the young fella here for almost 2 years, since he was 6 weeks old. And the other children I had like for months on end throughout a year, depending on how well she was. But she would never leave it this long. Something's gone wrong, and I just don't know what.
In the case of 17-year-old Renee, Liz and Gary are at a New South Wales Central Coast police station to get an update on their investigations.
How you going? I'm Liz Secluna. This is Gary Bailey.
How you
going?
Senior Constable Sherelle Jackson has been tracking Renee's older boyfriend, Adam.
We made some inquiries trying to locate the people that she had been known to be staying with. And have had no luck there so far. So at this stage, we have an old address and we're not sure where they've moved to.
What about if you just do an address history on him?
And that's exactly what Liz, an expert in computer investigation, begins to do.
So that's the only way I'm going to get it.
Vehicle zone.
She's tracking loan details on Adam's car. A bit more digging, and Liz hits pay dirt.
Here we go. We've got an address for him at Long Jetty, and that looks like that was changed yesterday.
Oh, OK. We checked that yesterday morning. It was still the address at Charmhaven.
It's probably come through like last night or this afternoon.
That's just unbelievable.
She has found Adam, and the address is just half an hour away.
What luck. All right, well, we might head out to Long Jetty, to this address, and see if he's there and if our missing person's there.
Excellent.
Meanwhile, in the case of Joanne Butterfield,
you mentioned to me that she'd told you about coming to Sydney.
Trevor gets some startling news.
Young Thorn had been flown over to Sydney to live with his father, his real father, and then she said to me she was concerned because every time she'd rang the school, they said that they had no longer had a boy there by that name.
Witnesses have told Trevor that Joanne fled to Sydney to change her identity 8 years earlier.
But she was really trying hard to find what school he was in.
But her sister Belinda says Joanne was actually looking for her youngest child, Thorn, who was then living somewhere in Sydney with his father.
She said to me, she said, oh, look, I'm coming down. She said, I'm coming to... She said, I've got to find him. She said, just to make sure he's okay. And, yeah, that was the last conversation that we had. She was going to come down to make sure he was okay.
But Joanne never made it. And of course, Thorne still believes his mum will turn up one day. But grandfather Barry is not so sure.
It was a hell of a shock when they said that she'd gone. She was a roamer, but never ever thought that she... I think eventually they'll find the bones, but I don't know.
Meanwhile, on the Central Coast, north of Sydney, Liz and Gary are on the trail of 17-year-old runaway Renee.
We've found on RTA records a current address for Renee's boyfriend, so we're going to attend there right now and find out why she has taken off. If she doesn't want to go home, we'll notify her mum that she's safe and well, and we'll have to leave it at that.
It's the best lead they've had in 7 months. Liz could now be just 20 minutes away from finding Renee. Meanwhile, back at the Missing Persons Unit, Senior Constable Gary Melchiori is briefed on a breaking case.
Last contact 3 days ago, but no family member's been able to raise her or contact her at all for the last 3 days, and it's out of character.
67-year-old mother Yvonne Davis has vanished after leaving work.
Hello, Raymond.
How you going?
All right, it's Gary Melchiori here from New South Wales Police Missing Persons Unit. How you going?
Yeah, okay, mate.
Gary's hoping Yvonne's brother Raymond might have some information.
She's got a partner of about 30 years, and they live together at Brighton.
Okay,
and he rang yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Very concerned, but he hadn't seen or heard from her.
Yeah, okay then.
She works for a marketing firm, and she goes from shopping centre to shopping centre.
So 9 a.m. Monday was the last time she was seen.
On the day she disappeared, Yvonne was working at a shopping centre at Botany, just 10 minutes from home.
The brother's going to the shopping centre car park to have a look for his sister's vehicle. It's unlike her character to not return home after work each night, and the partner has real concerns for her safety.
Meanwhile, north of Sydney, Liz and Gary are chasing down their only good lead in the search for 17-year-old Renee.
What flat is it?
Unit number 3.
This is her older boyfriend Adam's last known address. And if they're lucky, they'll find Renee here.
I don't think there's anyone home, will there?
But no one's home. So they decide to question neighbours.
We're looking for someone that's missing. It's a young girl. And if I show you a photo, you might be able to help us. Renee, have you seen this girl before?
No.
No?
Not once at all.
No, you haven't seen her in that unit before?
No, because we're in
Only
Jamie.
2 people I've seen as a...
Is Jamie a male or a female?
Female, yeah.
And who's Jamie? Is Jamie Adams' girlfriend?
Was, yeah.
We're just making some inquiries because this girl's been reported missing. Yeah. Oh, thanks, mate.
While Adam's definitely been staying here,
Give him that for us. Yep. Yeah, if you could just let him know to give us a call.
no one remembers seeing Renee.
All right.
Renee, we love you very, very much. You're my baby. Nan and Pop miss you. You're their little ray of sunshine. And just please, you know, your brother misses you too. He asks for Sissy all the time. We just love you, mate, and you need to let us know that you're okay. Can you please just let us know you're okay?
In the case of missing woman Yvonne Davis, Gary and Darren are heading to the shopping centre where she was last seen. Her brother Raymond has been here for some time and found no sign of her.
Raymond, yeah, Gary Melchiori. How you going?
Great going.
Have you had a search around the car park?
We've searched every parking spot in the place. We've been over an hour looking, but found nothing.
What's this car we're looking for, mate? Blue Kia. Blue Kia, is it?
While Gary and Darren check the car park, Raymond continues his search, increasingly desperate for clues.
She just came to work and she worked till 9 o'clock and then she left. No problems, no dramas. Got absolutely nowhere so far. Nothing at all. Everything's just a blank.
Back in the case of Renee, Liz and Gary are still hoping someone in these flats can lead them to the missing 17-year-old.
We're just making some inquiries, trying to find out where a missing person might be staying. Have you seen this girl at all? 17-year-old girl?
No, she hasn't
haven't seen her?
No.
Okay. We believe that she might be staying in this unit here.
Okay.
Does that jog a memory at all?
She could be. I really don't see the girl that's in there. I only see the two guys that live in there.
Okay, so who are the two guys that live in number 3?
I only know one of them is Adam.
Okay.
Another confirmation that her older boyfriend Adam lives here, but no sign of the teenager.
I haven't seen them for a couple of days, so all of them.
Oh, okay. Is that unusual?
Yeah. Their car's usually here every day, but it hasn't been here for a couple of days. And they packed up his four-wheel drive a couple of days ago too.
Adam's? Do you know what sort of four-wheel drive Adam drives?
I think it's a Nissan. It's white and blue. It's got a lot of stickers over it.
So they packed that up a couple of days ago?
Yeah.
Do you know what they were packing it up with?
Oh, there was a mattress and bags of things. He told me his parents were moving to Queensland, and then 2 days later they were packing up. They had the four-wheel drive packed in, and it was full of, stacked to the roof with stuff.
So you said his parents...
Liz knows if she can't find Adam, she may also lose her only link to Renee.
So it's a bit of a worry, because if she's not here and she's not with the boyfriend that we thought she was with, who is she with and where is she?
Back in the case of missing 67-year-old Yvonne Davis, her sister Beryl has arrived to join the search.
She was there Monday morning and she hasn't been home since.
Does Yvonne have a mobile number?
Yes.
Have you tried to contact her?
Yes, we've rung it, we've left messages and we've left text messages.
Did you mention anything about any problems?
No.
Work problems, personal problems, nothing like that?
She's been very happy the last time when we physically...
Without any history of mental illness or depression, Beryl's biggest fear is that Yvonne has fallen ill somewhere and is unable to get help.
I'm just really worried that with the heat that it's been, that she maybe has got into her car when it was hot and maybe had some sort of an attack with a through heat stroke, and she may be in a car somewhere.
Meanwhile, back on the case for Joanne Butterfield, Trevor's following up information that she might be living on the streets in Sydney.
I'm actually looking for a missing person from North Queensland.
So Sergeant Mark Samways from the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit is helping Trevor search homeless shelters in the CBD.
No worries.
We probably have up to 100 people that come in a day, maybe 5 or 6 women. So the women do tend to stand out.
Yep.
But I can definitely say, of that small pool that comes here, she's not one of them.
All right.
But with no luck here, Mark suggests they try King's Cross. Back on the hunt for missing 67-year-old Yvonne Davis, the search at the shops has come up with nothing. So Darren and Gary head over to Yvonne's home to speak with John, her partner of 30 years.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping de facto can shed a bit more light on the situation for us. Obviously, the family don't know what's happened in the preceding hours to her going disappearing.
But when they arrive, they're surprised to discover that in the 3 days Yvonne has been missing, no one has checked her garage. Not even John.
Yep.
At the same time, back in King's Cross, Mark and Trevor are still searching the streets and homeless hostels for Joanne Butterfield.
Hello, Emma. Good to see you again. This is Trevor from North Queensland.
How you going? Same here.
Trevor's come down to investigate one of his long-term missing persons, and we're giving him a hand. And
this lady here, used to go by the name of Joanne. These photos are a little bit old now. She's probably 10 years older than how she appears in that photo there. Doesn't ring any bells.
To this woman, Joanne is just another lost face from someone's photo album. But here in Mittagong, southwest of Sydney, the same picture is a stark reminder of the sister and the mother they lost.
That's Jo, that's the way she was.
Joanne's family still hold hope that one day she'll walk back in the door.
Sis, if you're watching this right now, we'd love you to contact us, please. Because Dad's not well, and your kids miss you so much, and so do I. So please, if you are watching, please call us.
Mum, if you're watching this, I just want to know I miss you and that. I didn't really know when I was young, but yeah, I just want to get in contact with you.
Please come home. Or if there's anybody out there that knows anything, please call Crime Stoppers. Thank you.
Meanwhile, back in the case of 67-year-old Yvonne Davis, when Darren and Gary open her garage, they make a devastating discovery. Yvonne's in her car, but she's passed away. The coroner will determine how Yvonne died, but right now, Gary's priority is to care for the family left behind.
Sort of got to get through it and just sort of comforting words more than anything else, and it sometimes does get a bit emotional, but you sort of got to take it in a bit and just there for more support than anything else for their families.
The young man had supplied some information to police.
Liz finally talks with 17-year-old Renee.
Do you miss your brother? You don't miss Mum?
No.
But she refuses to come out of hiding.
She just did a lot of yelling and screaming. She's not happy at all.
The curious case of missing Englishman Stephen Goldsmith.
Somebody said they saw someone pushing a shopping trolley with something in it off the end of the jetty.
Also, another difficult teenage runaway. Ariel's home,
Oh, my God.
but not for long.